guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Selena. So in this video I want to show you a simple tutorial on how you can draft this beautiful wrap top that has elastic sleeves, and also it has a band, so you can equally play around with the bands. You can also tie them at the back. So basically this is how the top looks like. Firstly, I'll be drafting this pattern on this pattern paper, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line. This is going to act as my shoulder line, so I'm just going to place the straight line across here. Basically what I'm drafting right here is a basic bodice pattern. So from the shoulder I'm going to drop down with 10.5 inches. This is going to be the bust line. After that, I'm going to mark 16 inches for the waistline, and the length of this top is going to be 18 inches plus 1 inch for the sewing. I'm going to mark it at 19 inches and just draw straight lines across all those points. For the shoulders, I'm using 15 divided by 2 will give me 7.5 inches. This is what I'm marking right there. And for the neckline, I'll be opening it up with 3.5 inches, and downwards also I'm going to mark 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to join these 2 points together to come up with the neckline. So after that, I'm going to drop down with 1 inch from this shoulder point and connect it to the opening of the neckline, because our shoulders are slanting and not straight. So this is the reason for this point right here, and just mark a straight line across there. So on my bust line, I'm going to mark 2 inches upwards and mark it. This is going to be my chest line, and just mark a straight line across. Also, from the shoulder slant to the chest line, I'm just going to mark a straight line, okay? This is going to help me get the armhole measurements that I need. So just mark a straight line there. On my chest line, I'm placing in the bust measurements. 34 divided by 4 will give me 8.5 inches, and I'm going to add 1.5 inch for the sewing, and also just 4 extra allowances. I now want to mark out my armhole. What I have right here is 7.5 inches, and I'm going to take half of this and just place a marking right there. After this, I'm going to come inwardly by 1/2 inch from this mark right there. And I'm going to join these points together. After joining the points together, this is the armhole that I have. So for the waist measurements, what I'm using is 28 divided by 4 is 7 inches. This is the mark I'm putting right here. And I'm going to add equally 1.5 inches for extra allowances. This top does not have a dot, so I'm not leaving any allowance for the dot. As for the length line, it will have the same measurements I have put on my waistline. So I'll just go ahead and mark all these points together. I'm going to go ahead and cut out this piece. On the armhole, I'll cut out the outermost, okay, because eventually this is going to be the back part of the wrap top. This is the shoulder line, the chest line, bust line, waistline, and also the length of the top. I will now transfer this draft on the fabric itself, and remember, your fabric should be on fold. After cutting out this piece, I will now be cutting out the wrap part of this top, and the fabric is also on fold. So I'm just marking out this straight line to act as the borderline for my wrap drafting, and I'm marking 7 inches away from the starting point, okay? 7 inches is my waist measurement divided by 4. This measurement right here really depends with your waistline, so I want my wrap to be all the way from one waist side to the other. This point right here is going to be the band, so I'm going to mark 3.5 inches for the band and add 1/2 inch for the sewing. By the time I sew this band, I want it to be exactly at 3.5 inches, so that is why I have it at 4 inches there. I'm now going to measure the front neckline length, and I'm just going to place my measuring tape right there, slanting a little bit, and I'm going to mark 9 inches because this is how open I want the front neckline to be. So I'm just going to mark 9 inches right there. After that, I'm just going to join all these points together. after that, I'm just going to transfer this armhole to the front side, okay? Because of course our front armhole is a little bit inside compared to the back armhole. So these are the two pieces that I have for the front and back, and I'm just going to show you how they look after cutting out both the pieces, okay? So you just place them right like that, and you have your front wrap, and also you have the back part. So for the back part, I'm going to cut out a facing, and I'm going to just mark 2 inches and cut out the facing regularly the way you usually cut out your facing. I'm placing these pins to show you how I'm going to sew my facing to this back bodice pattern. Just in case you don't know how to do this, this is how I'm going to sew my facing. For the front side, you can use 0.5 inches and make your sewing right there. You can also use a facing if you want to. As for me, I decided to use a bias for this, and I'm going to show you later on how it looks like. This is how the back part looks like after placing the facing, and also this is how the front part looks like with this bias, okay? Like I told you earlier, I used a bias for my folding. I'm now going to place these two pieces together, right side facing each other, so that I can make a stitching or a sewing and attach them together. So I'm just going to use these pins to show you how I'm going to attach the shoulders, and also I'm going to attach the sides. So after that, to cut out my sleeves, I'll be measuring the length of my armhole. This is 9 inches plus the allowances. So I'll be cutting out the sleeve pattern to 9 inches. I'll be using this piece for the sleeve pattern, and because this is a gathered elastic sleeve, we're going to need a lot of fabric. So as for the width, I'm going to mark it at 13 inches, but eventually it's going to be at 12 inches because of the allowance, and also attaching it to the shoulders, I'm marking it at 13 inches. As for the length of the sleeve, I'll be cutting it out at 65 inches because this is a puffy elastic sleeve, so it's going to have a lot of gathers. So the more gathers you want for your sleeve, the more fabric or length you're going to use, and the less gathers you want on your sleeve, the less of gathers you're going to make. I'm going to go ahead and cut out this into 2 pieces. One is for the left side of the sleeve, and also one is for the right side of the sleeve. So right here, I'm going to make a sewing of 0.5 inches with the highest speed on the sewing machine because I want to make gathers. For this other side of this fabric, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch, and I'm going to stitch it all the way up until the end. I'm making this stitching because this is where I'll be placing the elastic. So where I made out the sewing for the gathers, I'm just going to pull out the thread like this all the way until I get the desired gathers that I want to use for my sleeve. So I'm just going to pull it all the way. After achieving the desired gathered length for these sleeves, on this other side for the elastic, I'm going to be using my bicep measurement. So I'll be cutting out this elastic at 10 inches because the bicep measurement I'll be using at the end of it or is going to be 9 inches. I'll be using this pin. I'm going to place this pin right on this elastic. It's going to help me to draw string this all the way up until the end. I find this is a very easy method, so you can just get a regular pin and place your elastic right there and draw string it all the way up until the end. So when you get to this part, you can just use a pin to place it there so that your elastic doesn't go all the way forward, or else you're going to start over again. I will draw string this all the way up until the end, and I will equally do the same thing for the other side of the sleeve. So after making the 2 sleeves, this is what I have. So remember, the armhole measurement I'm using is 9 inches. So I gathered this sleeve all the way up until 9 inches, and I'm just going to show you how I'm going to place this sleeve to the pattern that we made. So right side facing each other, I'm going to place pins all around to show you how it's going to be done once I take it to the sewing machine for the sewing. I will equally do the same thing for this other side of the sleeve. So these are the two sleeves that I have after sewing them to this top. So this is how they look like, very puffy and also really cute. So as for the band, this is where I'll be placing the band. Okay, right here is where I'll be placing the band. I cut out these two pieces both on fold with a length of 40 each, and this is going to be used for the band. The width of this that I'm using is 4 inches. Once I sew it, it's going to be 3.5 inches. And I will attach these pieces to the wrap of this top. So the first thing I'm going to do for this is I'm going to make a sewing right there, and also I'm going to make a sewing for this part all the way up until the end. So I will only have one opening of this side so that I can be able to turn it to the right side. So after making the sewing on the band, this is how it looks like, and I'm going to attach it to the band side of this wrap top together. I will attach these two pieces. This is the wrap top and this is the band, and I'm going to make a sewing right here. I'm going to make a sewing right there, and this is what I will have for my band, and I will do the same thing for the other side. So finally, this is how the last product or the final product of my wrap top looks like. Okay, you can style it however you want it. Right there I just placed a brooch, and also you can tie your bands from the back side of this top. I hope you learned something from this tutorial. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.